What's up? I think we're live.
Yes. It looks like it. I can see our big heads behind you. Or behind that menu.
What's up, everybody? We're back. Finally. Of course, everything has been riddled with our famous
Technical difficulty.
difficulties. That great nemesis of ours. Um, so we're just gonna be reacting to all the Phase 4 MCU announcements. Maybe a few DC things too, but primarily Marvel. But first, we've got some news and notables.
It is with great pleasure and honor that I announce for the last time, for now, the Wake Forest Mini Comic Con. I don't know how to put this where you can see it. Jonathan's got me all turned around. So.
There you go.
It's tomorrow, folks. It's tomorrow. If you're not ready for it, don't know what to tell you. I'm excited and a little brokenhearted, and here's why. This guy.
Otherwise.
Nope, wrong way. Other way. This guy isn't going to be able to be there with me.
Yeah.
He's got work to do. So. But he better send me a comic book list if he wants me to look out for anything for him.
Yeah, I've got a couple fun issues.
Yeah.
So, looking to film.
But I am excited because I'm hoping to get some art commission stuff done that I didn't get a chance to take care of last year. And, yeah. So, in other news, a couple of guys I know had birthdays recently. Including this guy right here, and this guy right here.
That's right.
You get anything cool for your birthday that you want to tell anybody about?
Yeah, my sister got me these books right here. Let me go get it.
All right. While he's doing that, I got this bad boy.
Got me this right here.
What is that?
The 18. That's funny.
It's a Lego B.A. Baracus in the 18 van, man.
I don't know what you just said, but oh man, that's awesome.
Lego B.A. Baracus. Oh, wrong way. In the 18 van, man.
So if you, I don't know if I've ever said this on the channel before, but Lewis knows it. In Youngsville, North Carolina, which is right above Wake Forest, where I used to live. There's a guy who has a 18 van and drives it around. It's pretty awesome. I was going to Domino's or something one day. I think this is notable.
That's right, absolutely.
I went to no, not Domino's. It was Little Caesars.
That's right. When you lived in Youngsville,
and I see this man, I was like, "Is that what I think it is?" It's
Didn't
awesome.
you text me about that?
I think so. I think I sent you a picture of it too.
Yes, I think so.
Maybe. I don't remember. But I was pretty excited because it's nice. It's really nice. So
It's not 100% accurate, but it is still a thing of beauty.
But my sister got me this. It's a book. A couple of Star Wars books. Book of the Sith.
That's nice.
And then it's got Book of the Jedi. I've seen it in stores. I've just never gotten it. But I'm pretty excited to look through it. It's Legends, so you know it's going to be good.
So is it like the mythology of the various Force users, I guess?
It's supposed to be like an intro book to like becoming a Jedi or Sith. Like,
cool.
Supposedly this would be like the book you get to learn how to be either of those. That's the vibe I got from it.
So like Bibles or scripture kind of thing?
Not really. More like your first math book. How you learn to be a math. Do math. This is the basics. the intro, the learner, the Padawan's guide.
Okay.
So, but yeah, I was pretty excited. I got her uh, Harry Potter notebook.
Cool.
So, but yeah, me and my sister have the same birthday. So
Yeah, that's
to
really neat.
explain that, we're not twins. She was just born on my birthday. So just
I think it's the other way around. Isn't she older than you?
nah, I'm older.
Really? I didn't know that.
I'm the oldest child, man. I'm the
Okay, I'm sorry.
firstborn.
I think it's funny that we get along so well, knowing that I'm the youngest child of
Uh,
my siblings.
I've never really let it get to me. Anyways, because I'm sure that's why y'all are watching. um, but other news and notables, if you haven't already seen the video that I did about the Last Night on Earth Batman, I did book 1 and 2. It's so good. So
It is
good.
so good.
So,
So he bought me a copy, and I read it, and then like a day later, I read it again. It's that good.
so, um,
So I haven't seen that
pretty
video
cool.
he made. I just realized he had made it. What do you think your the funniest joke was?
Well, in the second book, the Joker is constantly asking Batman to become his Robin. It's hilarious. It's hilarious, and
Okay, so I've only read book one, so
the best one is at the very end. Like all these really terrible things have happened, and Joker's like, Batman, I got a question for you. Now try to keep an open mind. And then that's it. Like, it doesn't even ask because, he's asked the entire book. It's so good.
that's excellent.
It's so funny. It's the best Joker I've seen in a long time.
It really is. It really is. I feel like Snyder in this really gets the voice of the Joker. My two favorite jokes from the first book are the one where they're walking away and Joker says, "We're together again, Batman and Noggin."
Oh, yeah, that was funny. That one was good.
And then when they're fighting the Green Lantern babies,
That's so weird, but.
the part where he's like, we gotta learn to trust each other. It takes baby steps. And then as he's going flying through the air, he says, "I'll see myself out."
It's good. It's good.
Yeah, so I'm really intrigued about who Omega is. I thought it was cool that Wonder Woman kept Batman's costume for him.
Did you see my video?
No.
I'm betting it's Damian Wayne. But
yeah, I feel like that's too obvious. But
I wouldn't be surprised if they made it Tim, which would be awful.
Here's who I'm thinking. It could be Huntress if they. But I don't know what Snyder's done with her previously, because I feel like it would be a payoff for the Snyder run of Batman stories, whatever or whoever it turns out to be.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Huh.
Anyway, I'm intrigued, and because of Jonathan, I'm gonna have to pick up the other issues of this book. And if it turns out to be difficult, I'm going to come after you, Jonathan.
Hey, it's good. It's better than any of that Metal storyline was. And,
yeah, but I feel like it totally feeds off of that too, though, in a productive way. Reading this, I'm like, okay, so those other terrible stories might actually have a legit payoff now.
Yeah.
To which I say, great, because otherwise I could care less about them. And the artwork is really good. I really enjoyed Greg Capullo in the '90s on X-Force and then Spawn. And I think he does a really good job.
Yeah.
I'm not saying everything's perfect, but I'd say 95% of it looks good. So
yeah. Let's see. other news. Obviously, we're going to be spending a whole bunch of time talking about the MCU, so that's fun. Um, I'm working on getting a good friend of mine, friend of the family. Um, his name's Hector. On the channel to do a video. He's written a bunch of books called Faith and Fandom. He's been does a bunch of other stuff as well, and he recently got sent to San Diego Comic Con.
Comic Con.
And he it was funny. He told me, I think it was the guy who plays Data came by his booth and took a picture.
Really?
He was at a Christian media booth with some other people. So he went up to that guy's booth and said, according to your prices, you owe me like $80 for that picture. And he kind of chuckled and then just kind of moved on. So, anyways, he's a great guy. Me and him talked a weekend ago. So, I'm gonna try to get him on the channel. So that's news.
Yeah.
That'll be a fun conversation. He's a great guy. Yeah, I got some other plans coming up for the channel. Should be pretty exciting, I think. But the biggest news is we're back.
That's right. In living color.
That's right.
Do what you wanna do. In living color. About 10 of y'all might know what that is.
Unfortunately,
if that many.
Unfortunately, because of my new camera, I don't really have a place for my booster, so he's like way over
he's
here.
right over there. Yeah.
With Yoda and Groot. So I mean, he's in good company.
That's true.
All right. Let's get on to the main topic, shall we? The MCU Phase 4 lineup. What are your general thoughts?
My general thoughts?
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta be honest, I'm not, like, terribly encouraged by the offerings coming out.
Yeah.
I think there'll be a few standout features. But overall, I think it will be a lot less monumental than what we've experienced before.
Yeah.
I feel like there's potential there, but with no actual Avengers movie on the horizon, I feel like there's a void that really can't be filled by what is there.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Well, the ones that they were all excited about, I was like, I don't really care.
Right.
And the ones that they didn't really talk about, I'm like, these are the ones I want to see.
Yeah.
So I was just like, why all the emphasis on characters that nobody's asked for? But whatever.
So you just want to walk through what they announced?
Yeah, I guess my initial thought is I'm wondering, like, is this the beginning of the end? Like, it's hard when you had such a bookending movie like Endgame to keep it going.
Right.
Especially when you're basically changing up your entire cast. And so, I mean, because you lost your two main headliners. And it looks like with Cap and Iron Man. And then it looks like they're going to do the same thing with Thor. So, is it, are we going to, like all the main characters that we came to the movies for are gone.
Right.
And so they have to get somebody quick. And I guess the biggest disappointment I had was there wasn't a Fantastic Four movie.
Right. Thank you.
planned. Um, so really, it was the movies that they didn't announce that made me more worried about the future. So let's go through what they did announce, and we can talk about those because some of them are good.
Yeah.
All right, so the first one is Black Widow. It's
I think if they lean into the spy aspect, like in what was it, Winter Soldier, um, I think this should be good.
if this is a an origin story, this would be great. It's about time, honestly. Um,
But how do you have an origin story of Black Widow with no
I
Hawkeye?
know. Um, we we need Hawkeye. I think if they get Jeremy Renner in there, it'll be the best movie it could be.
Right.
Um, I don't know if they've said anything about where it's going to be based and stuff, but time like what year if it's going to be frozen in the
Right.
past. But I'm assuming it's like going into the past. Um, uh, but cut. But yeah, so
Yeah, everything I've heard is it's going to delve into her past as an operative for the Red Room or whatever it's called.
yeah,
And and so good. Like I think that's exactly the kind of movie that we're interested in. Um, I think I think one of the better ways that they could utilize this movie is if either A, they find a way to bring her back after her death in Endgame, or
yeah,
they show people who are close to her mourning her after Endgame.
yeah.
Because if they don't close with that, then
Well, they could start off with people talking about her, and then like it could be Hawkeye talking about the time where when they met, and then we flash back, and the rest of the movie is the flashback.
okay, I can get down with
That would
that.
be cool.
Yeah,
Give Hawkeye some love there.
yeah. Boy, does he need it.
Yeah. So that's my thoughts for Black Widow. Got anything else?
No, like I said, the only thing I want to see is them lean into the spy aspects of it, and do more of a suspense movie,
Yeah.
kind of like they did with Winter Soldier. And you know, I'm trying to think of a movie where the the main character starts out as a clear cut villain, but halfway through turns and um, you know, crisis of conscience or whatever, and turns and becomes the hero. So,
Yeah.
because I think that's the only way you can go with this movie, right? Because that's exactly what happens with the character.
Yeah.
So,
But I mean, they could always go with Nick Cage. That'd be fun. That'd be a better team up than he was with.
oh, you
Captain
mean Nick
Marvel.
Fury, right?
Sorry, yeah.
I don't want to see Nick Cage in this movie. He
Sorry,
had his
Nick
opportunity
Fury.
in the
The
sunlight
other
with
Nick. The other
two
Nick.
Ghost Rider movies, and they both stunk on ice.
Oh man. Although he was really great in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
He was in that movie?
Yeah. Well, he was. I mean, he was one of the voices.
Oh, okay. Well, he was great in that, was it National Treasure?
Yeah, I enjoyed those too. Alright. The Eternals. Now you're the Eternals.
This movie's either going to be good or it's going to be way too long.
I don't have any hope for it.
Well, it's got Gilgamesh, so I'm
I
interested.
mean, I'll go see it, but I think it's weird that. I mean, I don't know any of the characters. I've heard of Gilgamesh from you.
Yes.
But I think it's really weird that they like gender swap like half the cast or something. And I'm just like,
You're talking about Makari.
I don't know.
There's a dude in the comics.
I'm just like, why? That's so weird.
Yeah,
Like,
that was
are
the
there not
question I
female
asked you when I.
characters that you can use? Yes, there are. But you just decided not to. You decided to take an existing character and switch them up.
Well, when I
Okay.
saw
Okay.
the credits for the upcoming movie, and it had a female's name attached to the character Makari, I'm like, I had to read it 3 or 4 times. Surely I'm not reading this right, because Makari is almost like the Marvel Universe Flash in the sense that he is one of the fastest speedsters in the Marvel Universe, and for so long the character's been a male character. Um, so I'm not sure how they're going to address that. Maybe they just want to have a female represent the character, which is fine in one sense, but not in another. Because for myself, I enjoyed the Quasar series, and Makari was a big part of that series.
Yeah.
He was Quasar's one of Quasar's best friends, and so for me, I feel kind of let down that I'm not going to see the character that I thought I was going to. Though I understand their desire to represent different. I mean,
But there's other
different.
characters.
Do
Surely,
what?
surely there's other characters they could use.
Yeah, I mean, Sprite is a character they could have used.
I mean, I've heard people talk about also race swapping, and that one doesn't bother me as much.
Yeah,
There's a few characters that it would bother me with, but I don't know the Eternals enough to really care.
right. Well, I mean, I know you mentioned the thing about Gilgamesh being Asian, but then I made the argument that Macedonia was an Asia Minor, so close enough, right?
Yeah, I mean, that doesn't bother me as much as gender swapping.
Sure.
But the fact that they're doing both, I'm just like, come on now.
Right.
Just pick a team or pick some people in there that would fit. I mean, there's plenty of Marvel characters, or create new characters that we might be interested in. Like, I don't know. I mean, because most people have never heard of the Eternals, anyways.
I know. I have to go to bat for some of these characters for people to recognize who they are.
Like, the only reason I've heard of them is because of you.
Yeah.
So, and Gilgamesh is really the only one. Like, I've heard of the name Eternals, and I know of Gilgamesh.
The myth, right?
Well, no, from you, because we've done a few of those.
Well, I know, but I'm saying,
comic
other
drafts.
than what I've told you,
Right.
you are familiar with
I mean, I read
Gilgamesh,
the Epic of Gilgamesh in college, so.
right?
Yeah. Anyways, I don't know what to think about this movie. I'll probably watch it. It'll probably be okay. It's just like, nobody's asking for the Eternals. There's a lot more characters that I feel like deserve the movie more than the Eternals. But
Yeah, like the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, I know, right? It's ridiculous. Fantastic Four would have been great.
Yeah.
That would have easily been. It's the best move that they have, and they decided not to do it. So I don't know. I'm not.
I think they're playing risky, and if it costs me an excellent Fantastic Four movie, I'm going to be so mad.
Yeah. Anyways, next up.
The only other thing I want to say is I need Gilgamesh to fight Thor or Enkidu.
Okay.
I need a. I think that if they're going to set this in the distant past, like it seems like they are, I think one of the best ways to tie it to what we've seen already is to link Gilgamesh and Thor. And by Thor, I mean, Odin's son, the blonde-haired dude we've really come to know as Thor. Matching up against each other in a battle of prideful wills, where they're just smashing each other.
That's named Thor. That's his name. We'll get into that later.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a bit. But I'm just saying, like, I think that would be probably the best way to sort of connect the past of what's come before with where the future is going with these movies.
Yeah.
Plus, it would just be a really awesome fight, right? Two god-powered characters just wailing on each other.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So next we've got Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, or also known as the Master of Kung Fu.
No, also known as the Return of the Mandarin.
Well, no, I'm saying Shang-Chi is the Master of Kung Fu.
I know, but I don't care about this movie for that character. I care about this movie for the Mandarin.
Yeah, me and Lewis talked about this. I think the biggest thing I have is, why didn't they just use Iron Fist?
Or team them both up.
Team them both up would be fine too. Like the only reason I've ever heard of this character is because I've been through dollar bins and 50-cent bins in comic, and I was like, oh, hey, this is interesting. Someone named Master of Kung Fu. Like, that's a pretty odd name. And then you're like, oh, well, he plays second fiddle to Iron Fist, so he's not even the best fighter. So you went with your second best choice. That nobody's ever heard of this character.
Well, they swung and they missed on the Iron Fist show.
Well, but that's not like continuity with the MCU. So.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying though, because of the way they handled that, they really didn't leave themselves open for a movie.
They probably could have.
Well, they should have, but
that would have been
because then that could have led to an awesome Power Man and Iron Fist team up.
And that would have been like, we would have gotten not only the Fantastic Four, we would have gotten the Defenders, like the new Defenders, which would have been awesome. I mean, that TV show, The Defenders, was awesome. I would keep all of them except for the guy who played Iron Fist, who looks the character, but they just didn't get the character right.
He was dry.
I mean, maybe he could do better if the story was written better, and it was an actual character.
Right.
But we're not here to talk about that. But they could have done Iron Fist, and that would have been so awesome. Especially when you've gotten rid of some of your most powerful heroes with Thor and Iron Man and Cap. It would have been good to have somebody that could, match them in power with his, you give him double fists, and, he's up there. Besides, I wouldn't mind that. Never mind, I'm not going to go back. Anyways, it would have been great, and especially bringing the Mandarin back in, although it's a little too late because Iron Man's, knocked out of the ring, but...
Yeah.
That was a dumb decision.
But hey, I would have taken it, and I might still take it if they managed to introduce Fing Fang Foom at the end of the movie, and the Mandarin with the literal 10 rings of power, and he's the next Avengers bad guy.
That would be cool.
Because by himself, I don't know that he could do it, but with Fing Fang Foom 2, give me that Avengers movie.
That would be cool. That would be cool. I did do that video saying that Mandarin might be the next big bad.
Yes, and we talked about that a little bit in our Phase 4 predictions after Endgame also.
So, I think it'll be a good movie if done right. I just question what they're doing. I mean, there's better characters that they could have used.
Yeah, I would have preferred Rhodey being against the Mandarin.
I mean, hey, you set up yourself with another Iron Man trilogy, but instead of Iron Man, it's Rhodey.
Right.
So that would have been cool.
That would have been amazing.
And I'll talk about something similar that I think they should have done. So, as you can see, we're not super happy with all of the decisions that they're doing. I mean, we'll probably go watch the movie still. Which, speaking of...
please prove us wrong, Marvel. Yeah, make us eat our words.
Most of these, I think, can still be good movies. I'm just not, excited about most of them. I mean, I'm excited about Black Widow movie because, honestly, we've needed that for a long time.
Yeah, I'm surprised we didn't get that after Age of Ultron.
Yeah, I mean, I would have done a Black Widow Hawkeye movie like that.
I really felt like they were setting that up too.
Yeah. Um, well, I mean, I know that they were worried that it wouldn't sell. And I'm like, are you kidding? Like,
It's a Marvel movie, man. At the height of the Marvel movies, I
right.
really think it would have sold
Well,
itself.
I think it's more about the toys and selling the toys.
Yeah, girl action figures don't sell unless you buy off of eBay
Yeah.
and pay 3 times what you would have paid if you just bought it off the shelf when it was sitting there.
Although they could do like DC's doing with the DC heroes, whatever. Got all those female hero dolls. I've been getting those.
Oh, the girls
Yeah,
things.
I've been
Yeah.
getting those for my niece to start her off well.
Hey, man, there's going to be a young adult novel with that, or graphic novel, or something like a thicker than normal book coming out in the near future. I meant to tell you about that. So,
I have to look
not to divert us too much, but it's the DC.
Christmas is coming up.
No, I know that's why I wanted to tell you. Also, the Walmart big books, the 100-page things. Yeah. They're supposed to get one in that as well.
I got some of those, and then I realized I had like most of the issues that were in there.
Right.
So you're basically paying like $6 for one new story and a bunch of old stories that you probably already have.
Which is good to introduce people who aren't already into comic books to excellent stuff.
The Teen Titans one had Sideways in it, which was awesome, but I already had all the Sideways issues, so
right.
I thought that was pretty neat. Anyways,
somehow we got on DC again. Sorry, folks.
Anyways, well, I said we might do a couple DC movies. Next one, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
All right, this is the one I'm most excited about.
Me too. Doctor Strange is great. First movie, excellent. I've liked Benedict Cumberbatch for a long time. And I was like, when I heard they were doing Doctor Strange, I was like, this is your guy.
Right.
This is the guy who should do it. And they got him, and I was very excited. I've heard that he's teaming up with Wanda, Scarlet Witch, in this movie, which will be pretty interesting. I'm curious, like, what this multiverse of madness idea is supposed to be about. But
yeah, I don't know.
I'm glad to see Scarlet Witch get some screen time.
Yeah,
she deserves it.
And hopefully they'll sort of plug her into her magic background, like they had in the comics. And from what I understand, this is supposed to spin out of the WandaVision show that's coming out as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe her power, like she tries to do something with her powers and screws it up, and so she's got to team up with Doctor Strange to set things right. It's supposed to be a horror movie though, so that should be cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I was wondering where they would go after they did Dormammu first. But
I'm really shocked that they didn't find a way to bring Vision back.
I know. I mean, it's not like it'd be that hard. He's just a robot.
No, he's more than a robot.
Robots are easy to bring back compared to people.
This is true. Quite true.
Even without the Soul Gem.
That's true.
Although they had the Soul Gem for a little while. So, I mean, could have brought him back and then just taken it. Because they figured out a way to keep him alive without it before. So why don't you use the Soul Gem, bring him back to life, and then take the Soul Gem back. Boom! Problem solved.
Boom. There you go.
You got your Vision, and he can actually do something important finally. Because that's another character that they squandered and haven't done anything with.
I mean, he could have led the current Avengers.
Yes, he would be the perfect leader for the Avengers right now.
Yeah.
So.
You know who else could have been a great leader for the Avengers?
Yeah.
Hawkeye, if they'd have done anything more with him than what they did in the movies we've gotten thus far.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw like 5 minutes worth of screen time with Hawkeye that I'm like, oh, that's the Hawkeye I know.
Yeah.
So.
Oh well. Alright. Next. Thor Love and Thunder.
Next.
This is the worst one that I heard. I was like, okay, the Captain Marvel hasn't been as intolerable as that she was in the comics. But now you're going with another character that is generally hated from the comics and is really dumb. Like, seriously.
One of the things that I hate about it, even worse than all that, is that Natalie Portman is still playing the character, even though she basically separated herself from the MCU because she felt like she wasn't getting to do anything. So they basically reward her bad behavior and her own selfishness with regard to these movies by giving her her own movie.
Yeah.
If you notice, she's not in Endgame at all. Oh well, I mean, I guess there's no new footage. Maybe that's what it was. Because she didn't even come in to do the scenes where she's on Asgard with the ether, from what I understand. And
Yeah.
so if she can't even come in to do those scenes, I don't understand why you'd want to give her her own movie.
I don't know. I'm not really upset with her. I just think the character is dumb.
Well, I mean, that's fair too. But at the same time, I'm just pointing out, like, they basically wrote her off because she wanted nothing to do with these movies. And so I don't understand why you would then say, okay, well, let's give you your own movie.
Yeah. But I have to ask, like, what are you doing with Thor?
Right.
Like, we're not getting a Guardians of the Galaxy 3 movie forever, which I understand is because of Suicide Squad 2.
Right. It's Marvel's fault. They let the guy go, and he went and got some other work somewhere else. So.
Yeah. And so we're just going to be sitting around for several years without Thor. And then you're going to give us, like, the lesser version of Thor. That's not
Lady
really
Thor.
They don't want her to be called Lady Thor. That would make more sense than calling her Thor.
Yeah.
It's and another thing, like, what is she gonna wield? Is there a third hammer out there?
Maybe Mjolnir. I'm assuming Mjolnir.
It was destroyed.
No, it was sent back in time. Remember, it's probably part of the time paradoxes that roll out from Endgame.
It was sent back in time and then was destroyed in the new timeline from the same events. So there's no hammer.
Yeah, but maybe something happened because Thanos wasn't around now. I don't know.
She's probably going to get a special hammer. I don't know. I don't really care. This is probably be the first movie that I might skip. I couldn't care less about the character. Valkyrie is a cool character, but I don't think she's worthy of holding her own film. I mean, both of the actresses can hold their own film, but I don't think these characters can hold their own film.
You know what female character I wish they had gone ahead and done?
Yeah.
She-Hulk.
Awesome.
Then we could have got something with Bruce Banner in it.
It would have been so good. It would have been so good.
And I've read speculation that the next big bad for the Avengers will be the Maestro, which is like Hulk's future self, who just keeps getting OP and basically kills all the heroes or whatever.
Yeah.
We could have worked toward that with a She-Hulk movie.
Well, I don't know.
Then you would have had your female hero. We'd have had a good movie, because I don't know how a She-Hulk movie wouldn't be good.
Right.
She's got that fourth wall breaking thing that Deadpool has, and you can kind of like feel the vibes to see if you could do a Deadpool 3 that's PG-13 instead of rated R. You know what I mean? Like, And then you could have waited and introduced Jane as Thor if you're going to do that after we get Guardians 3.
They should have just left that character alone.
Well, I mean, if they're going to do her, which it seems like they felt obligated to do her, I'm just saying, like, if you're going to do that, there's a better way to get there than, here she is. Yeah. Wait, why are we here? I feel that way a lot of the times when I go to Walmart. It's like, I thought I needed to be here, and yet now that I'm here, I wonder why I'm here.
Yeah. Yeah. I just think it's dumb that they're taking characters that can't sell their own comic books, and they're like, oh, let's make a movie of them. I'm like, right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Well, I mean, Marvel's went on record for, like, 30 plus years of basically saying Jane Foster was not central to the Thor character. And now they've really turned that on its ear and like, no, she's super central to the Thor character. So like she was important at the beginning, but then they kind of wrote her off. She married somebody else, if I'm not mistaken, which it could be because it's been a while since I've looked into or cared about the character at all. And then for Thor's 30th or 35th anniversary or something, they reintroduce the character and they have a brief storyline, and then she goes away again. And until, this stuff with, I'm sorry, I can't call her Thor. Thor is a man's name. So I'm going to call her Lady Thor. So if you're offended at me, that's fine. I'm not trying to be offensive. I'm just saying she's not Thor. Thor is Thor's name. Like, my name is Lewis. So if a woman came up and said she's suddenly Lewis, like, I get that she's worthy, right? But she's not Thor.
Yeah.
Like I totally get what they're doing, but at the same time, it's kind of annoying. Well, it's like the whole Captain Marvel Shazam business.
And I'm curious because Thor has his own powers. We learned that in Thor 3.
He has the lightning stuff.
The hammer only focused his power, but the power was within himself. So you're going to take a human and say that they have power within themselves, or they just get this hammer and suddenly they're able to do magical powers. I mean, I can understand.
Well, maybe she's an Eternal and doesn't know it.
But Captain America got his. He picked up the hammer and he didn't suddenly fly around and get even more strength, and he didn't become Thor. He was still Captain America. He just had a bigger weapon.
Right.
So I'm just like, what are you gonna do with this character? Like she can't. She's a normal human. She's got no extra powers. But now, if she can't, just because she can wield the hammer, it doesn't give her like super strength and durability. At least not in the movie.
Well, I think in the comics it does.
In the comics it does, but not so far what we've seen in the movies. The hammer doesn't give that.
Don't let the logic of the movies throw you now.
Well, I know what the comics does, but the movies don't. Anyways, this just is another list. There's so many good characters that Marvel could have gone with, and instead they chose some characters that people have never heard of, and then some that people really don't like. I'm like, why? Why are you doing this?
Right.
I'm really surprised. I didn't hear anything about a Captain Marvel too.
Oh yeah, I guess not.
I'm sure that they'll come up with it, but I was really surprised that one wasn't already announced.
Yeah, especially with the money it made.
Well, honestly, I think the only reason it made that money is because it was so tied to the Avengers movies.
Right.
And it had Samuel Jackson.
Ain't you seen my movies?
He's the best part of that movie. But I don't think if it's not tied to an Avengers movie, I don't think it's going to do well. But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. Prove us wrong, Marvel, please.
Yeah. Anyways, the next one is not on the one list you're looking at, but Blade.
Oh, yes.
Blade. I think that's a movie. And they got the guy from Luke Cage, which is awesome. The guy who played the first villain. Well, what's it called? Something Snake or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah, you told me and I forgot.
He's excellent in that. I've heard that he's in other things, and he's really good there too. So I'm excited. I think he'll do a really great Blade. I mean, I enjoyed the old, the movies that I watched before. I don't remember which ones I saw. There's what, 3 of them?
Yep.
I don't think I've seen all 3, but I've seen at least the first one and maybe the third one.
Probably.
Um,
Ryan Reynolds is in the third one.
I don't know.
He basically plays himself as a vampire hunter.
But I enjoyed what I saw of those.
Dude, the first one was awesome.
Yeah.
I kind of hate they're making a new one just because of how good the first one was.
Yeah. But I think it'll be good. It'll be cool to have Blade in the MCU. That'll be interesting. I wonder how he'll relate to the other characters. That'll be what I'm most interested in.
Well, if you don't mind, I'm going to take a minute and just tell everybody what we were talking about the other day. I think they missed an opportunity here with whatever Avengers movie they could have cobbled together. I know they want this big, huge, overarching story, but they could have introduced so many characters here in this phase that would have gotten us to so many other stories. Like I told you, there was an episode of the Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes where the Avengers are like trapped somewhere. And when I say the Avengers, I mean the team that actually was the Avengers at that point. And so I think it's Kang comes back in time and tries to destroy the world or time, or I forget exactly what. But the only heroes that are readily available are War Machine, Spider-Man, Thing, Wolverine, and maybe 1 or 2 other people, right? And so those guys have to band together. Luke Cage is there, and they have to band together to stop the bad guy. Now, I don't know if you caught all the names that I listed, but 2 of them would lead to 2 other series. Wolverine would lead to an X-Men series. The Thing could lead to an Fantastic Four series. Because all you would have to do is establish in that movie where the rest of the Fantastic Four are. Right? So you could even incorporate the Human Torch and say he and Thing were battling on Earth while everybody was out in space, or they were taking.
You wouldn't even have to do it in that movie. You could just mention it in the next, right, but just one of them shows up and you're like, well, where's the rest of them in the next movie? You just give like a little hint, but you could do it there too. Like, hey, they're not here for this reason.
Right.
Because the characters in the movie don't know who these people are. They're just showing up, but
right.
You can easily write in a line, I met these guys while y'all were doing that, or whatever.
Right. But then you would have Luke Cage readily available, and the good storylines that he was involved with readily available. You'd have Wolverine ready to go and rejoin the X-Men at the end of the movie. All they'd have to do is show him pulling up to the X-Mansion, right?
Right.
You wouldn't have to see a single other X-Men. He would just be pulling up to the X-Men on his motorcycle. And he's like, man, it's good to be home. That's all it would take. And then you take as long as you need to perfect an X-Men movie.
Yeah, that's another thing. No,
you can have.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, and you could have the Thing walking, and it zoom out, and he get pelted with eggs, and then you zoom out a little bit more, and then you get the Yancey Street sign, and you realize he's home, and then come up with an excellent Fantastic Four movie,
Well, and they could have done an end scene credit where you have a couple of the characters in Avengers walking down Yancey Street or something. or
Right.
anything.
Or
You talk about
um
living in Harlem or something like that, and hint uh, the new defenders, or you can like somehow mention something about mutants because they have mutants now, like
right.
um, just name drop something in like an end credit, and like that would have gotten everybody hyped for the next thing. I thought it was a mistake for them not to have an end credit because it treated Endgame like it was the bookend, which means like you could potentially just end it here and have like a really great, you know,
Full story
movie
that you
thing,
never
and
have
then
to
just not even care about
build off of.
all the
Right.
movies that you're introducing next.
Right.
But if you tee it up, be like, oh, you thought this was the end. It's not the end game. There's more coming. That's what I would have done, just
Yeah.
to keep the hype up because there's not really any hype right now.
Well, like we talked about, even just a phase and then the four in the symbol of the Fantastic Four. Phase four is coming, and that would have been enough,
Yeah.
right? Like to know that they were planning to introduce the Fantastic Four in a legit way.
Although I haven't watched Spider-Man yet, Far From Home,
Right.
and I've heard that there's some game-changing end credits. So I'll have to see about that.
Okay. Well, I've already told you it's not about the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, which is
So.
sad. But and I want to go on record again saying Jim from The Office should be Mr. Fantastic.
Right.
Um, John, I don't know how to pronounce his last name.
Krasinski.
Yeah, there you go. He would be a great Reed Richards.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways, so they also dropped some TV series coming out, which I'm excited about these, but at the same time, I just like that they're not
There's no
movies.
urgency.
Right. First, it's Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which I'm like, yes, but I'm like, why isn't this just a movie?
Right.
Knock off Eternals, give me a Falcon and Winter Soldier movie.
There you go. Because Eternals could make an excellent TV show
Yeah, I mean,
where you actually get to know these characters.
so like, but we know Falcon, we know Winter Soldier, both of them
Right.
great actors, and one of them's now Captain America. Just make a Captain America 4. Like,
Right.
we don't. Why demote them to the TV shows? Like, these are some of your best characters that you've got left, and you've demoted them to the small screen.
And here's what's interesting to me is that these movies aren't. I mean, these shows aren't going to last very long.
Right.
Maybe 6 to 10 episodes.
Like, some of them make sense.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying though, like 6 to 10 episodes doesn't seem like you're really going to get in depth with these characters.
Yeah. Yeah. Even
So.
even the Netflix shows were 13 episodes.
Right.
So Defenders was like 8, but all of the characters had already had like a full season before they, met together. So, but I'm excited about it. I love both the characters. But honestly, I feel like Captain America is really your central character, and if you're not having him or Thor in a movie in the next 5 years, I'm exaggerating.
But it looks like it.
But
right?
yeah, like if you don't have either of them in there, you don't really have any unity in any of these movies. And so it's just like, why should we watch these? Like, there's
Right.
nothing pulling us to the next Avengers movie.
I do think the premise sounds awesome, though. The government doesn't want Falcon being Captain America, so maybe they'll do something of the U.S. Agent's backstory, where Falcon is just Falcon for a few episodes, and it leads up to him claiming the shield and getting the backing of the government and everything.
I think it's
Because
I think it's
U.S.
dumb.
agents too violent.
I think it's dumb. They weren't in control of who was called Captain America to begin with.
Well, that's not exactly true, because if you remember
Well,
from the first Cap
in the
movie,
first
they
movie,
wanted him to
sure.
be a USO.
In the first movie, he was part of the government stuff, but he clearly broke away from the government and still kept the name Captain America, which means they had no control over what he was calling himself. Why should the same be true of the Falcon? If he wants to call himself Captain America, what is the government? They don't have a claim.
They have a claim on the shield.
They don't have a claim on the shield?
Sure, they do.
No, they
They
didn't.
created it
Howard Stark created it.
as a part of shield,
Yeah, and
which was a part of the U.S. government.
he gave it to
Um,
a rogue agent. The government didn't come claiming the shield or the name. They came after Steve Rogers because he was a criminal. They weren't coming after his name or the shield.
no, what I'm
So why
saying
would they
is,
do the
like,
same for Falcon?
because they want their stuff
It's not
back.
their stuff anymore. It was Captain America. It was given to the Falcon. I don't think it makes sense.
But now that Captain America's off the board and the 5-year gap happened and all that, I think they're going to be like, you know what? We want our stuff back.
Yeah, I mean, sure, but I think it's a stupid premise for a whole show.
I don't know what to say because that was one of the better long storylines in the Captain America comics. So
Whatever.
I have a very personal stake.
I'm sure it could be good. I think it's a dumb premise.
Well, I hear you, but that this would centralize Falcon as Captain America, so I kind of am for it.
I think there's other ways you can centralize him as Captain America. But,
Like what?
make him Captain America and have him do a good job. It's not that hard. You don't need the government to go after you. Although it makes sense that the government would go after them. He is still the Winter Soldier, so.
Okay, fine. Maybe that's
it makes
what it
more
is,
sense for them to go after Winter Soldier, and hey, maybe we'll go after Falcon too.
Because you're helping Winter Soldier. What's your problem?
As a side note, you're using our shield that we don't really have a claim to because it wasn't ours.
But give it back to us anyway. Sucker.
So, I mean, maybe, but yeah. Anyways, I think it'll be good because both of those actors are really great, and I'm excited.
Yeah, and they have good buddy chemistry.
Yes. I still think Winter Soldier should have been Captain America, but that's beside the point.
And I disagree. I think it belongs to Falcon.
Well, see, Falcon is great as Falcon. Winter Soldier is just... There's not much you can do with that.
Oh, that's true. I do agree with that.
Like, you make Bucky, the classic sidekick, you make him Captain America, and you do something with Falcon and make him more than just a sidekick.
Yeah.
That's what
I do think Winter Soldier looked better as Captain America than the costume that Falcon had as Captain America.
Yeah, I didn't mind Falcon's Captain
No, but
America.
the one that Bucky had just looked a lot cooler.
Yeah, I'm sure.
With the black pants and everything.
But I mean,
maybe you never saw it. I don't know.
I think I've seen it. It doesn't come to my mind right now, but
it was Alex Ross designed. It's a thing of beauty. Just trust me.
I'm just glad that they're doing something with the characters. I just wish it were a movie rather than a little TV show on the side.
Yeah.
Alright, so let's move on. We can run through these TV shows. Wanda and Vision. I'm glad that they're doing something with the Vision, but it's a little too late.
Right.
At this point. Like, unless you bring him back, why are you doing a TV show about them?
Yeah. I really do think the premise is she's going to use her powers to bring him back and create a little family for themselves, sort of like was in the comics, and it's going to not be a good day as a result.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, no, I think that would be...
probably
the
not
perfect lead into Doctor
it's
Strange.
probably not a story that would work well on the big screen.
Right.
At least not in the MCU because it's just so different.
Right.
But it'd be a fun story nonetheless. But I do think that they should bring back Vision and have him do something. Loki, I think that's cool. I don't know what story you would go with. Unless you're turning Thor into a frog or bringing Beta Ray Bill into the MCU, I don't see why you need a Loki show.
Yeah, so I was opposed to this show on just like, I don't know, personal grounds. I'm like, I don't really care. Until that scene in Endgame where he sneaks away with the Tesseract. I'm kind of hoping.
Oh, that one. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm kind of hoping that they'll, like what I've heard suggested is he might use that to travel through time or something.
Space.
And, do what?
Space. He can't travel in time.
Sorry. But there was one that said he might interact with himself in his past, like show him manipulating events in history.
Yeah.
So I mean that might be kind of cool.
That'd be interesting.
Yeah.
I still want Frog Thor, but
no, I think that would be an excellent sort of end game, if you will, of that series.
Thor shows up for like a minute. You pay him for like one episode, and the rest of it is Frog Thor and Loki.
Yes.
Thor's got to help. Frog Thor has to help Loki, or he's not going to turn him back.
Honestly, I'd be there for that.
That'd be so good. Honestly, that'd make a great regular movie. You get Chris Hemsworth to voice the whole thing, and
well, even if you don't want to pay him, get the guy who has like the frog voice, right? I'm trying to think of the guy's name. There's a kid actor who had a frog voice, like, you know, had a real deep voice or whatever.
All right, let's keep going. But I think that would be cool. That would be cool.
Yeah.
What if?
Animated series based on the comic series.
Is it animated?
Yep.
It'd be cool if they did the Spider-Man Punisher.
They probably will. That was a really well-received issue.
Great issue. Great.
So I can't imagine they wouldn't do that one.
I'm excited about that. It's one of the it's one of the few things that had like a new idea that I thought was really good. And doing it in cartoon makes it a lot more that they can do.
Right.
So that would be cool. And it's about time Marvel, caught it with DC with cartoons.
Yeah, DC has been, blowing them out of the water.
Dude, did you see the Teen Titans Go versus Teen Titans movie that's coming out?
No, but I saw the trailer for it and it looks amazing.
Well, I was asking if you saw that it was coming out.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I thought that was hilarious.
I'm sorry. I thought you were asking me if I'd seen it, because I think it is out.
Is it? I just saw the trailer today, so I don't know.
Oh, okay. Huh. Because I had read an article that sort of featured, like, all the various Teen Titan teams and stuff that show up in the movie. So maybe they just had, like, a first look at it, and so they were just trying to hype the movie or something.
That's the first good idea I've seen them do with Teen Titans Go, is bring them with the other Teen Titans that were better.
Right.
And make fun of the fact that, they changed it up. It's great.
Right.
It's just good. And then you have, like, both villains showing up from both. Like, you have this really goofy, crazy, like, childish Trigon, and you have, like, this,
the real one.
The real Trigon. And it's like, okay, this is great. So I'm excited. That looks good. I need to see the first Teen Titans Go movie. Cause that did actually
go to the
look pretty
movies?
interesting. Huh?
The Go to the Movies one?
It did look pretty interesting. I don't know how good it was, but anyways, that's not Marvel. Hawkeye.
No, thank you.
There's another kid. Well, if it were about Hawkeye, I'd say let's go. But since
Okay.
it's not going to be about Hawkeye, it's going to be about Kate Bishop. I'm just like,
Well, that's not his daughter, so
right.
I don't care.
I'm like, oh, another character that everybody hates that you're going to bring into the MCU.
Well, I don't know that she's hated, but at the same point, I don't know that she's been, demanded, because we could have slotted in Hawkeye's daughter from the movie, who he was teaching archery to, as the Kate Bishop character for the Young Avengers.
There's another.
And it would have been fine, right?
There's another avenue they could have gone down. Young Avengers. You already got Spider-Man.
I'm baffled that they haven't done that.
You already got Spider-Man. Like, get a few more in there.
Well, I mean, so they have Cassie, whose stature, right? That's Ant-Man's daughter.
And she's aged now, so she can do it.
We have the dude from Iron Man 3 who could do the Iron Lad character. You have Hawkeye's daughter. She could be your Hawkeye character. You got this WandaVision show where you can introduce her children, the twin brothers, Speed and Wiccan, or... Yeah, I think he went by Wiccan most recently.
Well, they've got a daughter. Vision has a daughter now.
No idea what you're talking about. I'm talking about... Whoops.
Is that how you feel about that?
Yeah.
Well, they could also introduce a young X-Men character.
Yeah.
Boom. Leads right into the X-Men.
Right. And then, of course, you have the Skrulls who are running around in Captain Marvel. That movie was how long ago? Set in the 90s, right? So 20 years, and you'd have a 20-year-old Skrull child, right? So there's your Hulkling character right there. You get some... so how do we get Patriot in there?
I don't know who that is.
He's the African-American leader of the Young Avengers.
Okay.
So,
but anyways,
yeah. So other than that character, because I was just thinking, like, they're looking like Hulkling and Wiccan are gay, so they'd get that demographic. You get a couple different female characters, so you'd get that demographic. And I knew there was an African American character, but it didn't jump out at me right away who it was. And then I remember, oh yeah, it's Patriot. So, you get a Captain America stand-in character. And, yeah, so, I mean, and that would open up, like, a ton of that's right, a ton of jazz hands. A ton of, like, ways you could go, to get to even more storylines. And that's the thing, like, we don't have to rush and bring everybody.
Teenage Groot in there.
Yeah. Oh, that's true, yeah.
Just have Rocket be the leader. That'd be funny. Because Guardians is a little overcrowded right now.
Yeah. That would be amazing. Why isn't anyone listening to me? Because you're a talking raccoon. What do you expect from us? We're teenagers.
Silly rabbit. Anyways, but yeah, this Hawkeye, I'm just like, come on. Nobody wants Kate Bishop. Like, why are we doing this?
Well, you've got his daughter right there who we're already somewhat emotionally involved with. So why would you need anyone else?
That would have been great if they just changed the character. Unless they rename her Kate. I don't know what her name is in this.
I don't remember what her name is.
Just have her go by Bishop. Maybe she gets married. I don't know.
Or she goes undercover.
Or that. I don't know. And that would be okay,
Yeah.
But nobody wants the other character.
I think that's it, right?
That's all I've got. Obviously, they haven't said anything. Well, I heard about Ant-Man getting his own a film with somebody. I forget who.
Yeah, didn't you say he's going to fight the Masters of Evil or something?
Yes, I saw a picture of that. I don't know if it's true, but I saw Ant-Man Masters of Evil, and Wasp had her own movie,
Huh.
which was interesting. Um, and she's got something important going on too, and I don't remember what. But I think it would be pretty interesting. Let's see if I can't find it. Keep talking.
About what?
Any. Escape from the Microverse is what the Wasp was called.
Nice.
Now, I don't know. These might be.
Ooh, Black Panther Secret Empire. That sounds awesome.
This is fans, maybe? I don't know if this is true. But it's got like a picture with Kevin Feige in front of it. It's got Nova.
And Warlock?
And Warlock. There's the Fantastic Four. There's the Black Widow picture. Black Panther Secret Empire.
That sounds awesome, for the record. Because the Secret Empire is like this clandestine group of politicians and business leaders and stuff who rock hoods and identify as numbers. And in an old Captain America storyline, they place a man in office as the president, and this sort of started around Nixon and Watergate, but in subsequent stories, they've just been a clandestine group, so I totally think they could pull that off. Sorry, I had something fall over here, and am I going the right way? There we go. Yeah, and I think with Black Panther, that could be an interesting, dichotomy there.
Yeah.
So, I'd be about that.
Doctor Strange Illuminati.
Now we know we're not getting that.
There's Ant-Man.
I'd love a Nova movie.
Yeah, Nova would be awesome, and they could do the younger Nova and another character for Young Avengers.
Don't do that to me. If they're gonna do Nova, I need Richard Rider first.
I like the other. I like the younger.
And then he can die and make room for the other guy if they really got to do that.
If they did it better than they did Captain Marvel, then they could have him in both of them in the same movie.
That's true. That's true. Hey, what is the Captain Marvel movie there?
It says Captain Marvel and the Valkyries.
Oh, okay.
But I don't think that's going to happen because we've got...
I couldn't read what it said there, so...
Because we've got the Valkyries going to be with...
Thor. Or Lady Thor.
Uncanny X-Men. That'd be cool. New Avengers.
Yeah, that's another fan concept you got there, though.
Yeah, I know. So there's a lot of things that they could do. Namor. They got Thunderbolts here. That's a pretty cool Avengers logo. Sorry that y'all can't see this. I have tried to get it to where I can show windows on this thing. And I guess that's the next hurdle I'm going to have to go over. We had my OBS program would not link with Skype anymore on this computer. So it worked a few days ago when I tried it out, and then when we decided to do a live stream Monday, it didn't work. So I had to go look everything up, download this new program, and work around, and I finally got it working. I was pretty excited, right before.
And I've had work and birthdays and junk, so that's why we hadn't been able to do it before tonight.
So we're gonna.
But thank you for watching.
We're gonna be back on our normal schedule this Monday, Lord willing.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna try to post other videos throughout the week.
Like your last night on Earth.
That's right. If I can get at least one out a week other than our live stream, I'll be happy. But I've got more plans for more than that, so we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Anywho, you got any final thoughts for the Marvel MCU Phase 4?
Hurry up with my Fantastic Four movie, Marvel.
Yeah.
I don't ask for much. But I need an excellent Fantastic Four movie before I die. Because the first one that came out, with Michael Chiklis and... Is his name Chris Evans, the guy who plays Captain America?
Yeah. He played,
Yeah.
yeah.
Human Torch.
He was
Yeah, I
Human
couldn't
Torch.
remember if his name was Chris Evans. It just sounded like that's not right. Jessica Alba and then Ian Gruffield or something like that. That movie is tolerable. Um, Way better than any other thing named Fantastic Four as far as live action movies go.
Yeah.
There's a lot wrong with it though, and I want a good one.
That was really my first introduction to the characters. So I remember it fondly. The second one I didn't like though. Even then.
The only good thing about the second movie is the Silver Surfer. There's so much they could have. I mean, little things they could have easily done.
Even I, with my no knowledge of comics at the time, knew that wasn't Galactus.
Right.
I was like, that's just a big cloud. Like, what is going on? So weird.
All I know is that they could have easily done a few tweaks and made that movie so much better and led it to a third movie that would have encapsulated so many cool things that I love about the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in a future video, because it's one of those things that I feel very strongly about.
Yeah.
And it literally, it would have just taken a couple of tweaks of what you did end up getting that would have made the movie better received.
Yeah.
So, sorry about that.
I'd say I'm overall disappointed with the new movies that they've got coming out. I'm hoping that some of them will be better than I think some of them will be good. Like, obviously, Black Widow will be great. I don't know what to think about the Eternals. I really don't care about any of the characters. So I might go see it, and maybe it'll change my mind. I don't know, but what are the odds that you have two breakout hits with Guardians of the Galaxy and Eternals? I don't know. We'll see. And then Doctor Strange, that was good. But Master of Kung Fu, I think it'll be better than. But I'm not looking like I have no.
It'll be better than Iron Man 3 because it'll actually have the Mandarin in it.
I don't have any problems with the movie. I don't care enough about the character to have a strong passion to see it.
Right.
I'm more excited about the Mandarin than anything.
Right.
That they're finally doing something with the character. And I love the idea that you have with Ping Pong Spoon because I really like him. Who doesn't love a big dragon? And they should summon Thor to help with that. That'd be fun.
I could tolerate that.
That'd be fun. Anyways, so we'll see. We'll see. A lot of the things that they made TV shows, I thought should have just been movies, and vice versa. There's a lot of dumb characters that they're bringing in, like Lady Thor and Kate Bishop, and I'm not really excited to see where they might be going with Valkyrie. She was great with Thor, but I'm just not sure I care where they're going with it. So we'll see. We'll see. That's my general thoughts. Again, I thought the way they ended Endgame, they should have teed up something. Any little thing would have kept us excited about what's coming next. And I don't know, maybe Spider-Man will do that for me, but we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
So you guys think about me tomorrow as I have to go to Comic-Con by myself.
Right. If you're anywhere near Wake Forest and Raleigh, go to the Wake Forest Comic-Con tomorrow.
I'll probably be wearing this hat, so you can find me easily by looking for that. I'll be wearing this face too. This right here.
Let's see what Um, but that's all I got, guys. If you're new here, go ahead and subscribe. We'd love for you to join the family. We appreciate you watching. Give us a like if you enjoyed listening to us ramble on about the MCU. We do this every Monday night. Obviously, this isn't Monday night, but we do try to do it every Monday, unless the villain technical difficulties shows up. Um, but yeah, we appreciate you watching. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think. Are you excited about the movies that we weren't excited about? Let us know. We'd love to talk to you about it. Are you excited about the ones that we're excited about, or what movies do you think they should have done? Do you think they should have done? Let us know. Yeah, we will catch you next time. Peace.